Hello, today we're going to take a look at part one of a two-part series in making a numbers game. What I'm going to do is, instead of having a purely mathematical game, I'm going to introduce a language where you learn the numbers in a different language, and then it goes into a game to help you review the numbers in the other language. So for example, this one here, this one is set up learning numbers 1 to 10 in Japanese. So let's have a look. Now these leaves falling, we haven't looked at this code yet, but there's a code called clonemy, and that's how I've made the leaves to fall. We're going to have a look at changing the backdrop, and then these sprites are introducing. She just said her name is Meiko. Let's learn Japanese, and she'll say it in Japanese. Nihongo o naraimashou. Let's do math in Japanese. And we have to learn the Japanese numbers in Romaji, and she's saying the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then there's an option in the game to review all the numbers, and it'll start that sequence again, or you can push next to play the game. So let's have a look. This was made in Scratch 2.0, and it has enabled me to bring through an animated backdrop. I believe that's not yet available in Scratch 3.0, but the programmers are working on it. We're being introduced to the game. We've got to answer some math questions. The questions will use Japanese in Romaji. So what is 8 plus ni? And then down in this area here, we've got to type in figures. Each time we're correct, or figures and push enter. Each time we're correct, then this bamboo rod falls further, closer to the fish pond, and there's a insect sitting on the end of it, and when this gets so low that the insect falls into the fish pond, then the fish will eat the insect and grow, and then each time we get an answer correct, we also get a number. So in the previous lessons, we've learned how to score the game. It's 1 plus 3, 5 plus 4. What do you get when you add 7 and 6? How much is Q plus 4? And remember, we're typing down in here and then pushing enter. Ni plus ni, and you can see the insect now, and you'll notice how it drops down with the bamboo. Ni plus ni. 3 plus 3. 6 plus 6. What is 7 plus 5? How much is 6 and 8? And then an insect falls off, the fish eats it, and it grows. We haven't learnt this code yet either. And then the animation starts. Well done. It's a beautiful animated background. And then they're talking about how enjoyable the game was, and it goes on to a new part of the project, Japanese script history, and we're seeing how the numbers are written in Romaji, but what's the true story of the Japanese scripts? She's called her grandfather to come here, and then her grandfather is going to tell the story. So I'm just going to leave that there because it does go into the story of the three Japanese scripts and then into another game. So what we're going to do is we're going to first of all start the lesson on the numbers that are in a different language. And for this lesson I'm going to go and use Spanish. You can sign in to scratch.mit.edu, or instead of signing in you can simply push create if you want to work in the web-based version. I'm going to end up using the desktop version. First of all, we need some idea of where we're heading with our game, and it's a good idea to actually have a plan, then map out a storyboard either in your head or on paper, and then look for backgrounds that suit your story or suit the lesson that you're going to do. So there's a beautiful website here called Pexels, Pexels.com, and then you can type in the search backgrounds. You can also be really specific. I wanted Spanish, so I typed in Spain, Mexico, Peru, etc. So let's have a look what happens when you type in Peru. And I really liked this background here. I could have chosen this one too, but there's the clouds are obscuring the top, so I chose this one. So when you find a background that you do like, you click on it and then press free download. Now you don't have to say where you got it from, but I always acknowledge the source where I got it from. So when you choose save and OK, my one gets downloaded to the download folders on my computer. I'm just going to cancel because I've already downloaded it. And then I click on this web address, right click and copy. Then I copy it into Notepad, or you can copy it into Word. So here's the one that I got from Peru, and it's the same URL. So you could in here type the Peru background, then right click and paste, or Control V will do the same thing. So always keep a list of your sources. That's a really nice etiquette. So let's have a look at what backgrounds are available. So let me just put backgrounds in again so you can have a good look. And the beautiful pixels, very clear, crisp, some with amazing colors in them. So it depends. Start thinking now about your game. It's going to include numbers. Are you going to do a purely math game, or are you going to use another language as well? So if you've had experience or want to learn another language, then look on the internet and see how you count the numbers 1 to 10. I wouldn't go past 10 at this stage because first of all it's a lot to set up your game with the numbers, and then also it does make the math more difficult if you go past 10. It's beautiful pictures. So have fun looking through here, choosing your backgrounds. At this stage you need 2 backgrounds. One is setting the scene of the game, and then the next one is what background would you like your numbers to appear. I do my numbers in English and the other language as well. So let's pop out of here for now and let's start on part 1. So we don't need the cat. Right click and then press delete. First of all, we're going to bring in the backgrounds. So hover over your background menu, then upload a background and navigate to where you've saved your backgrounds. So I'm bringing in the first one, Peru, and then I also want to bring in a second background, and it's the abstract art but I actually opened it with paint or photos first, photos, because it was a little bit too bright and it was going to be too much for me to put the numbers on top of this, so I just wanted to dull it down for a moment. So I went to edit and create and then clicked on edit, and then in here you've got options of dulling it down, and I actually chose the burlesque one where it's a little bit more faded, not so bright. So then I saved it as a different copy, so abstract 2 I saved it as. So let's bring in abstract 2, double click will do it. So now we've got 2 backdrops. The first one is the one that I'm going to start this project with, and then I'll flick over to the abstract. We don't need the blank background, so you can delete that one. Now the next thing is to think about how many sprites you would like in this project. Do you want 1 or 2? Would you like one to speak in English and the other one to speak in the other language that you're introducing? For my project, I'm just going to choose 1 sprite. So hover over your sprite menu and then search. And I just want people. And I thought Abby was quite good. You can hover over the different people and see what they do for their different costumes. So ones that are in different positions when they're talking, they're quite good to have. So for this one I'm choosing Abby. And then I want Abby to stand over in this position here. And she's at the top of, I believe it's Machu Picchu. And we need some code for her. Now there's a lot of code being introduced into this project, so bear with me while I introduce the ones. So we know events when the green flag is clicked. Then we want, I believe it's under looks, yeah, under looks, switch backdrop to Peru. So every time the game starts, I want it to start with this background. So I just want to make sure it is set to Peru right from the beginning. And then for Abby, I want Abby to be Abby A, and she's got several different costumes. So I've had a look through here. So I just want her there to begin with, just standing still with her arms down. Then out of these 2 here, I wanted to be able to pick them up when she's talking. And I didn't really need to go back to D because it's similar to A, but she hasn't got her mouth open. Yep. Okay, so back to codes. So we're making sure Abby is in this position when the project starts, and I want her visible. Later on I'm going to hide her. So she's show, and then we just want to make sure she stays here. So this is a code we've used before. Go to the XY coordinates. Then we just want her to wait while people focus on what's on the stage. So wait 1 second. And then we want her to start talking, but we want her to change her position as well when she's talking. So we're going to switch the costume to Abby C. And then we want her to say, and it's timed, say hola. And that's for 2 seconds. And then we want her to wait for 0.5. Then, just to keep things interesting, we want to switch Abby's costume to B. and then she says something else. And it's a little bit longer this time. And she says, we're going to learn to count in Spanish. And then practice saying that and see how long it takes you to read that. Then think about your audience and think about how long will it take them to read it. And then apply the number of seconds you would like it to stay. So I'm going to say 5 seconds. And then once she's finished talking, we just want her to switch back to costume A. Then under, I think it's under events. Yes, it's under events. This is the new code, and let me explain why. We're going to have quite a few sprites in this project, but we've only got one stage. Yes, we changed the backdrop, but it's one stage, and all sprites that we bring into this project appear in the stage unless we tell them to hide. And then we also use a code called broadcast and another code called receive. It's just like giving a prompt of when to change the backdrop or when a sprite is to appear. So we're going to do a broadcast after Abby has finished talking. And it's going to say under here, at the moment it's just saying broadcast message 1, but we actually want to customize this. So under message 1, we click on here, new message, and it's going to be called numbers, because we're going to tell the project now get ready to introduce the numbers in Spanish. So we're going to say broadcast numbers. And then Abby's just going to say something again. And she's going to stay in that position. She's going to say, are you ready? And press next, and that's for 3 seconds. And then we want her to hide. So she's given a prompt, broadcast numbers, and then we want something to appear here. She said press next, so we need to create a new sprite, and we want to be in bitmap. We want the color, and it's just going to be a word, color of the word to be black. And click the T for text. This is our central zone, so we try and stay central. Let me just zoom in a bit. So we click here, and this is simply going to say next. So it acts kind of like a button, and we want it to be handwriting. Oops, sorry, just undo. Now, while it's selected, we can move it around, and we want it to be central. See how that point is central there? So we want it to be central as well. And then you click away, and we're all done. So that's next. Then we put the code on next. So when the project starts, when someone clicks the green flag, first of all, we want this one to hide. We don't want next yet. And we also want it up in here. Let me see if I can get it. It's just down in there. So we need the coordinates from motions and go to the XY coordinates. Then we need the prompt of when Abby broadcasts numbers, then we need to receive that. So I believe it's under events. Yes. So when this sprite receives numbers, make it visible. So show the button for next. And then we're expecting someone to click on this. So we need the code when this sprite is clicked. We wanted the background to change and we want to start the lesson of teaching the Spanish numbers. So we need to choose so under looks we go switch backdrop. At the moment it's on Peru, but we want to switch it to abstract 2. And then we want the next button to hide. Let's just tidy this up. So let's see what that looks like. So far, hola. We are going to learn to count in Spanish. Are you ready? Press next. And so we press next, and here's our abstract. And this is where we're going to conduct the lesson of the Spanish word appearing here and the number appearing down here. So let's stop our code. So we have to create new sprites. So under sprite and paint, then I want these to be in red. So we leave the color as 0, saturation 100, and brightness up to 100. And that's that lovely red color we've used before. Convert to bitmap. And we're going to click in here. And instead of handwriting style now, I just want it to be serif. And first number in Spanish is uno. Then let me just zoom in a bit. And it's selected so we can adjust the size. We want it a decent size. And then again, remember, got to make it central. So that's nice and central. So that's uno. And it needs some code attached to it. So under code, events, when the green flag is clicked. Let's just place this here. First of all, we want it to hide because we don't want it visible yet. When the green flag is clicked, hide. Then we need a new block, and this is where it receives the message from Abby. Remember, she put out a prompt, so we've got to put in when the backdrop switches to abstract 2, and that's from events, when the backdrop switches to. So we change it to abstract. Then we go to the coordinates, so it'll be the top right, then show, and then wait 5 seconds, and then hide. So let's see what that looks like. So we press next, and then uno and one. So what I did to get all of these numbers the same size and in the same position, what I did was I copied the code, and then all I did was change the wait time. The coordinates are the same for uno, and then I made the number 1 costume, and the central position is right in here, and then I just erased uno and made sure that number 1 was a similar weight of font, and then I copied this code, duplicated it for 1, and just renamed it to 2 and changed the costume to 2. But the central is always central, horizontal and vertical of your number or word. And then the only thing that changed is the wait time. Everything else is the same. So if we have a look at the word uno, I copied all of this, duplicated the code, and let me show you how I did that. So right click, duplicate, and then first of all place it here, and then drag it over top onto DOS when it wriggles. See DOS wriggles, and then under DOS, that's the code that's been copied. And then you just change the wait time. So I changed the 5 seconds to 7 seconds. And then each time I went through, I duplicated DOS and created the sprite for tres and erased the word, and just typed in tres here, making sure it was the same font size and central. Then the code, I just changed the wait time. So you just need to keep going through until you've done numbers 1 to 10, both in Spanish and in numerals. Then under number 10, when we get to number 10, we've just got to add a piece to the code. So up until hide, it's all the same code, just the wait time is different now because we're staying on the same backdrop. We just want each of these sprites to wait for their turn. So it takes 60 seconds for this to run through until the number 10 can appear. Then at the bottom, we want to send out a broadcast that the numbers have finished. So what I did was I just went to broadcast, then I clicked on the drop down. I did a new message and typed numbers end. You'll notice that the wording has to be all together. It's what's called camel formatting. So what we do is join the 2 words together with capital letters at the start of each of the new word. So we're now broadcasting, sending out a prompt. The numbers have finished, and what do you want me to do next? So what happens is we create a new sprite, and it's going to be, these numbers will disappear, and this new sprite review will appear up in here, and none of these numbers will be on here. So do you want to review the numbers? And this is as far as we're going in project part 1 at the moment, and then in part 2 we're going to have the option of review or play a game. So let's have a look at what does this look like so far. So Abby's introducing, setting the scene. She's asking us to click on next. Uno. Dos. Tres. Cuatro. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then the prompt goes out and review comes up. Then when we click on review, it starts all over again. Now let's have a look at the code for review for a minute. So we've got review. When the project starts, when the green flag is clicked, hide, but position in that position up here. Then when I receive the prompt numbers end, show. When this sprite is clicked, so when someone clicks on review, switch backdrop to abstract 2 and then hide the sprite called review. Then we know back in abstract 2 that it'll start the numbers again. So when a backdrop switches to abstract 2, you start the numbers. So it's wonderful how it all ties together. So I'm hoping that you're understanding this backdrop stays the same. All of these Spanish words and all of the numbers are actually on the stage, but we've just made them invisible and we've set a time for them to appear when it's their turn. So the first one, it's got a wait time of 5 seconds. Dos, wait 7 seconds. Tres, wait 13 seconds. Cuatro, wait 20 seconds. Cinco, wait 27 seconds. 6, wait 32 seconds. 7, wait 39 seconds. 8, wait 45 seconds. 9, wait 53 seconds. And 10, wait 60 seconds. So you can set up something similar. You don't have to do Spanish. You can do Mandarin, Japanese, or any other language that you would like to introduce and be part of the game. So I'll let you have fun, and remember this is only part 1. Part 2 is we're going to get to here, and then when review comes up, they will have an option down here to play the game. They can choose which one they're going to click on. So part 2 will be us creating the game, which is going to be fun, and it'll be using the Spanish that they've learnt, and then they've got to give the answer in numbers. They've got to type in the numbers, just like how I showed you in the Japanese game here, where we had to type in the numbers. So have fun, get your creative juices going, think about how you're going to set up your game, and how you're going to begin, what training, what learning is your viewer going to have first before you then introduce the game to test their knowledge of the language. Alright, so I'll see you in part 2. Have fun everyone, and thank you for watching.